Hey YouTube, it is me. It's Danny, the multiple streams queen. Excuse my voice. I know I sound nasally. I don't feel that great. I'm actually outside of patient first. I don't even know if you can see it. Outside of patient first, waiting to be called in so I can be seen. I've been miserable the last few days, but while I'm in my car waiting, I wanted to make a video to drop some gems on y'all, hopefully. So what I want to talk about today, and please don't mind, my baby's in the back listening to his YouTube. So that you may hear them in the background. But anywho, I wanted to talk about house rules today. What you should and shouldn't have in your house rules. Okay? There's a saying that goes, govern yourself accordingly. And essentially what that means to me is govern yourself like the way you know you should, right? You have to tell people how to treat your property, how to treat you, but more importantly, how to treat your property. What can they do in your property and what can they not do in your property? You have to tell people. Break it down in layman's terms, okay? Tell them exactly what they can do and tell them exactly what they can't do. I have seen house rules range from literally 3 sentences to whole novels, right? And at first you see it and you're like, okay, right? When you're on the guest side, you're like, oh my God, like what is all this? But now being a host, I sit down and I'm like, I get it now. I absolutely get it. Okay, so let's talk about it. House rules. What can your guests not do in your house? Of course, you have the no smoking, the no party, the no extra guests staying overnight. What can they not do in your house? But I want you to take it a step further. If they cannot smoke in your house, what happens if they do? What are the consequences if they smoke in your house? If they cannot have parties in your house, what are the consequences if they have a party in your house? What happens? What are the consequences? Because a lot of people put no smoking, no parties, no this, no that. But what they fail to do is tell the guests what the consequences are if they do those things. It's very hard for you to run a claim when you say, I have no parties listed in my house rules. Okay, what happens if they have a party? Right? Then you got thousands of dollars worth of damages. And you want to recoup that money from the guest. And they just deny it. Because what happens is, if you're not familiar with Airbnb, what you do is you have to open up a resolution and essentially you'll request money from the guest for whatever it may be. Okay? You request money from them. Okay? And so the guest has 3 days to respond. They can approve it and pay the money, or they can decline it and say, no, I'm not paying it. Right? And so then what happens, it gets escalated to Airbnb, and then they do an investigation. If you've never gone through an investigation with Airbnb, what they will essentially ask you is for proof. Okay, back, y'all, I'm back. Continued. So what I was saying is, once you open up a resolution, it goes to the guests. They have 3 days to respond. Either they approve it and pay it, or they deny it. Once it gets denied, it gets escalated up to Airbnb. So Airbnb will do an investigation. You have to send some type of proof. So let's say a guest smoked in your house, right? Do you have proof that they smoked besides the smell, right? It's very hard for you to have proof of a smell. So you have to have some remnants of smoking. Did they leave ashes, lighters, any type of remnants of them smoking, cigarettes, weed, whatever in your house? Do you have any evidence? But on top of that, where did you put or explain to the guests that, hey, if you smoke in my house, this is how much I charge. Do you have proof of that? Because you can prove, yeah, that they smoke and you have no smoking, right? But it's very hard for you to just come up with these figurative numbers or imaginary numbers that you just pull out of thin air. That's why you have to have everything written on your house rules, explaining it to guests. So if you smoke in my house, we charge a $500 smoking fee plus da 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 da. Right? What is da 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 da? So it takes extra cleaning to get the smoking smell, especially cigarette smell, out of your house. It takes a little extra cleaning from our cleaners. If they happen to damage anything, you have to replace that. So you will be charged this fee for smoking, plus whatever damages that were caused by the smoking, right? If they put holes in your furniture, whatever, they get charged for all those things. But you have to spell that out to the guests in your house rules. If a guest has a party, what is your fee for violating that house rule of having a party? Right? So that's why I say put every single thing in your house rules. It may seem like a lot and you may think you're doing too much. Hey, you got to cover yourself. Put those things in your house rules. Make sure that your guests read your house rules and agree to your house rules. Once they agree, they're liable to what your house rules say. If they say, I've read the rules and I agree, and then they go on and they smoke, and you find evidence of smoking, they got to pay. Put everything in your house rules. Whatever you want your guests to not do in your house and what they can do. But it needs to be in your house rules. All right. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe and share with anybody else that is on the road just starting their Airbnb business or just wants to scale. All right, y'all.